Right now is the best time in history to be growing your business on YouTube. It's a generational opportunity. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through the full guide for growing your business on YouTube in 2026. And this is the exact strategy that I use for my clients to land high ticket deals, speaking gigs, sponsorships, and high leverage opportunities. So the first thing that I'm going to cover is how you actually generate high ticket deals from YouTube. Business YouTube is a lot deeper than just posting videos on the internet in generating ad revenue. You need an actual funnel in place in order to convert people from not knowing who you are, a complete stranger, into a subscriber, and then into a high ticket customer. And this is where the subscriber funnel comes into place. Essentially, you have your content. I'm going to break down how the content funnel works because you want to have different types of content that are going to appeal to different awareness levels and move people down the funnel that way. But then also you're going to need assets in place in order to take people from just being a subscriber on your YouTube channel, where most of your subscribers are going to be completely anonymous. You're not even going to be able to know who they are unless they publicly show their subscriptions, and actually convert them into an email list subscriber, and then hopefully convert them into a high ticket client, whether that's an info product, SaaS, or an agency service. So within your channel, you need multiple sub funnels. So you need lead magnets. So different videos within the descriptions of your videos, you're going to want to have call to actions where you're going to send people to an opt-in where they can opt in for a lead magnet. This is essentially a content upgrade where people are going to get access to maybe a presentation from one of your videos. An easy way to make lots and lots of lead magnets for YouTube is just take the presentation from your video and say, hey, if you want access to this presentation, just click the link in the description. They opt into their email and boom, you suddenly have leads within your pipeline from YouTube. They're no longer anonymous. You've actually generated something. Another way to do this is mini courses. So if you've seen a lot of business channels, you'll notice that a lot of them have these quote unquote mini courses that are 45 to an hour to 3 hour plus long courses on whatever service or info that you talk about on that channel. And what you want to have is a series of videos that are maybe 5 to 10 minutes long that maybe break down a subtopic of your service. And within each of them, you want to have a call to action that sends them to that mini course. Because a big reason why YouTube converts so well is because people spend a lot of time with you on YouTube compared to short form platforms. So what you want to do is have people spend more and more time with you. An easy way to do that is have people watch more and more of your content. And the mini course is an easy way to increase that watch time by a drastic amount because it could be an hour plus long. So they're spending a ton of time with you, even if they only watch, a quarter or a third of that video. And beyond the lead magnets and the mini courses, you also want to have a basic funnel setup within your content itself. So you want to have top of funnel content that's going to appeal to more new and casual viewers. You want to have middle of funnel content that's going to appeal to those casual and core viewers. And then you're going to want to have bottom of funnel content where people are on the edge of maybe booking a call or taking that next step with you. And you want to provide as much proof as possible. And you're building a lot of trust with that bottom of funnel content that allows people to take that leap of faith with you. Now, the content format and the ideas that you come up with are going to vary a lot depending on the niche that you're in. If you're selling an agency service, you probably don't need to do a lot of lifestyle content. But if you're selling info and part of the transformation that you're selling them on is a lifestyle-based transformation, like a lot of BizOp info and a lot of just general info-based stuff it's based on around that lifestyle transformation, then you probably want to provide some insight into, the lifestyle that they could potentially achieve. And that's where, people like TJR and Brez Scales have a ton of success with lifestyle content and basically anyone that's big in info. Now, the goal of all three of these sub funnels is to get people to take that next step towards you and eventually buy something from you. Now, for most high ticket info and high ticket agency services, this is going to mean that they need to book a call with you. So what you want to do is your YouTube content funnel, your lead magnet funnel, and your email list and newsletter that people have gotten on via the lead magnets, via potentially the mini course, depending on how you set this up, via maybe a free group or however you've set up your funnel, you're going to want to send them to a VSL and then eventually get them to book a call. This is the end goal of all of your content naturally. Now, the foundation of your YouTube content comes down to ideation. So there's two ways that you want to come up with ideas for YouTube. Outlier theory, which you've probably heard of at this point. Basically, everyone uses this strategy to a T. The basic premise is someone comes up with an idea, whether that's a title format, a thumbnail format, a video format, or it's maybe the content of the video itself. And then what happens is you get people that take that idea and they apply it to their niche. So Callaway made a video on social media. Things are about to change rapidly. I can't remember the exact title, but that was basically the idea. And then we have someone that applies it to Facebook ads, meta ads. We are here. They take the same thumbnail format. And then another person takes and applies it to LinkedIn as well. And if you'll see, this is a 5.5x outlier. A 5.5x outlier means it performed 5.5 times better than an average video on Callaway's channel. This guy did it and he got a 2x, right? It's not that great, but it's still pretty good. It gives you a foundation for an idea that's going to perform pretty well. And this guy did it, and it worked incredibly well for the LinkedIn niche, 13.6x outlier. And this is an idea that you want to apply as much as possible. The more data that you have from other niches, from other channels, from competitors, etc., that are going to point towards your next video doing well, you're going to want to use that. The basic idea behind outliers, it's almost like funnel hacking, where you're taking some data that this is going to perform well, and you're basically applying it to your own marketing and your own videos to give you a starting idea than just pulling an idea out of thin air that has no data backing it. The main problem with a lot of people ripping the outlier is with AI nowadays, people just rip the entire format, they scrape the video, and they don't actually provide any originality to the idea. What you should be doing with outlier theory is looking at why the video actually performed well. Was it the hook? Was it the thumbnail? Was it the title? What was it? Understand that and then actually build upon the idea. Have multiple new things that you're doing in the body. Have a new content format. Try and expand on the idea or have a different take than the main video. The problem is a lot of people are ripping the video word for word and they're not actually understanding why the video performed well in the first place. And then the second way that you want to come up with ideas for business content is mapping out your service. So a Facebook ad lead gen agency, their service mapped out is ad creatives, campaign structure, landing pages, offer, sales process. And then similarly, like a LinkedIn content agency, I just kind of ripped this off. It would be like scripting content, ideating content, lead magnets, content formats, how to DM and outbound, all of that sort of stuff. And you want to use these subtopics to then create the foundation of your content and create different videos around each part of your service. And then once you have your service mapped out, then that's when you can go and find data points from outliers to maybe find a title format that's going to work well for an ad creative video, for example, or a campaign structure video. Or maybe it's a thumbnail format that's going to work well for the Facebook ad Andromeda update, right? Just like this video right here. And this is how you want to go about creating video ideas. Map out your service and then go and look at outliers and data that's performing well on YouTube right now. Next, let's talk about the content funnel. So like I was talking about over here with the different stages of the funnel, you have top of funnel content, middle of funnel content, bottom of funnel content, and they're going to appeal to different awareness levels, new and casual viewers, casual and core, and then core viewers. You want to have that exact setup within your content. So what that would look like for most businesses is at the top of the funnel. It's obviously going to depend on your business and offer, but at the top of the funnel, you're going to have basic how-tos, listicles, and lifestyle content. Lifestyle content is going to appeal more to info, like I spoke about earlier, but how-tos and listicles are going to basically apply for agencies, for info, for software, etc. And then middle of funnel, you want to have tutorials, mini courses, like I was speaking about with the sub funnel, and then non-student case studies. Non-student case studies are basically a breakdown of an authority figure within your niche. So Hormozy is a super popular one. Hormozy's advice on cold email. Hormozy's advice for YouTube channels. Hormozy's advice and you can do that for any authority figure. Within each niche, there's usually going to be a couple really big authorities Real estate, for example, has Ryan Serhant. These big authorities, you can basically break down their funnel or a process that they're doing or advice that they give and compact that into a video. And those tend to perform quite well. And then bottom of funnel content is case studies, interviews, and podcasts. Generally longer form content that's trust-based and pretty raw. Now let's get into packaging. Packaging is the title, the thumbnail, and the hook of your video. Packaging is the 80-20 of YouTube. It doesn't matter how good your editing is, how good your script is, how good your presentation is, if no one clicks on your video and watches it. Your title and thumbnail are gonna determine 60 to 80% of your video's results. They're massively important. The basic psychology behind packaging is someone's gonna be scrolling on their desktop or on their phone. They're going to have initial exposure to your thumbnail. They're going to glance at your thumbnail for maybe 200 milliseconds. They're then going to look down at the title, how to become a master storyteller. They're going to immediately clue in on keywords, master, storyteller, and then they're going to make an initial decision, whether or not they want more info or whether or not they're going to skip. This is where curiosity gaps are going to be super, super important. If people look at the title and thumbnail and immediately spark curiosity, there's an exponential chance that they click on the video. If they're looking for more info, they'll return to the thumbnail. They're going to look for key elements. With business thumbnails, people are looking for graphs, they're looking for screenshots, they're looking for results. A lot of business content is transformation based. Once they've gotten enough info, then they click. After the title and thumbnail do their job, it's up to the hook to fulfill on the initial promise. So with the Callaway example, he says how to become a master storyteller. So within the hook, you need to confirm that that's what the video is going to be about. In this video, I'm going to be teaching you how to become a master storyteller. Now, the reason why YouTube is so unique compared to short form platforms where you're just getting fed content as you scroll is that YouTube is essentially a zero-sum game. So in a given session, only one video wins. So a session is when someone's scrolling on the YouTube homepage. There can only ever be one winner. This is the reason why packaging, title, and thumbnail are so important, because your video is actively competing with other videos at any given time. Now we've reached scripting. This is the meat and potatoes of your video. Now, depending on the format of the video you're making, the body could be wildly different. But there are a couple key principles that you're going to want to use and implement regardless of the type of video, whether you're making a vlog, you're making a tutorial on a software, or you're making a presentation style video just like the one I'm making right now. Now within the hook, you have the first line in the introduction. The first line is the first 5 seconds. The introduction is the following 25 seconds. The job of the first line is to validate the click and create intrigue. Now, if someone clicks on your video and it turns out that you're not talking about what was in the title and thumbnail, they're going to immediately click off and your retention is going to suffer. So there's 3 components to the hook. There's the visual, the spoken, and the text. These must be aligned to the packaging. So with the visual, if you have a whiteboard in the thumbnail, then you're going to want to have that within the hook. If you have, a Miro presentation, you're going to want to have that and show that off. And then the spoken aspect, I mentioned this earlier. If you have a title like how to become a master storyteller, then you want to state that within the hook. In this video, I'm going to break down how to become a master storyteller. And then the text on screen. So if you have text on screen that says how to become a master storyteller, that's going to further confirm the packaging, the title, and the thumbnail. The golden rule of the hook is to speak to a single subject and solve a single question. So if the title is how to become a master storyteller, then you're going to say, hey, in this video, I'm going to break down how to, solve that question, how to become a master storyteller. In that singular subject, you're going to say, hey, I'm speaking, or maybe I'm speaking to founders, or maybe I'm speaking to real estate agents, or maybe I'm speaking to whatever your ideal audience is. That's who you want to call out within the hook. Now, the basic principles behind the body are open loops, and then your payoff, your point, and then an open loop. So you want to have your payoff, open loop into the next payoff, open loop into the next payoff. This is how you solve the body. And this is going to be pretty much universally true regardless of the content format that you're creating. Whether it's presentation, whether it's a vlog, generally speaking, business vlogs, you're still giving advice, you still have key payoffs, you still have information that you're giving out within that vlog. And the better that you are at creating open loops in between payoffs is how you build really, really good retention in your business content. Now, with each payoff, you want to explain why it's important, what it is, and how you do it or how you solve it, whether it's a problem or whether it's a framework that you're teaching. And you want to repeat this open loop payoff format throughout the video into the CTA. Now, the call to action is going to be what sets up your other sub funnels, whether that's to the mini course, whether that's to a lead magnet. So you're going to want to use different CTAs depending on the length and the awareness level of the video, whether it's a top of funnel video, a middle of funnel video, or a bottom of funnel video. With the bottom of funnel video, you're going to want a CTA directly to a book a call, because the audience that's generally watching, not always, but generally watching, is more sophisticated. They've watched more of your content and they're more on the brink of buying with you. If you're doing a top of funnel video, you probably should just CTA to another video, whether that's the mini course, to increase the view duration of the audience on your channel. And then at the middle of funnel, this is where you can do lead magnets and get people to take that next step with you. So then you're generating leads from your channel. Now within your CTA, you're going to want to have a hook, a curiosity gap, and an action. The hook of your CTA is really important because you need to keep people interested at the end of your video where they're about to drop off. So the hook would be like, but there's one thing I didn't tell you. Right? So if you gave all these key payoffs in your video, there's one thing I didn't tell you. And then the curiosity gap would be, everything I said is useless if you don't know how to do X, Y, or Z. And then the action is how you solve the curiosity gap. So book a call to work with me. Or if you want this presentation, opt into the link in the description, the lead magnet. So now once you've created and understood your thumbnail, you've scripted out your video, there's a couple key principles behind recording. Now, I'm not going to go into a ton of gear recommendations or anything like that, but there's 3 key things you need to focus on: lighting, the video, whatever you're shooting your video with, and then the audio. A basic setup would be an iPhone, tripod, natural light, and then a good solid microphone. One of the biggest things that you need to focus on is the audio of your video. If you've got a $50,000 camera, but your audio is crackling and muffled or cuts out in certain places, people are going to drop off like crazy. So focusing on either a Rode wireless is what I recommend, or a Shure MV7, just like the mic I have right here. Those are both going to be really solid options, and that's what I recommend you invest in if you're going with a basic setup. iPhones can still shoot great as long as you have good solid lighting. If you don't have good natural lighting, maybe you live in a darker place during the winter, then that's when you want to invest in some softbox lighting. Now, an advanced setup would be Sony FX3, newer or Amaran bicolor lights and softboxes, and then Rode wireless or Shure MV7. The mic setup is going to remain the same, but investing in a super solid camera, I think Sony FX3 go between $3,000 and $5,000, but they're a really solid investment. And then investing in good lighting, that's what an advanced setup would look like. Now, there's lots of mid-range cameras that you can buy for around $1,000 to $1,500 that are going to be solid, but this isn't a gear video. If you guys want me to do that, I'm happy to, but these are the 2 setups that I'm covering today. Now, for channel strategy, there's a couple different approaches that you can go with. Channel strategy basically comes down to upload frequency and then the competitive advantages of your channel. And I'm speaking about this beyond the subscriber funnel strategy that I spoke about earlier in this video. That's really going to be the core of your content strategy. But as far as uploads go, you can go sniper approach, which is 1 to 2 super high quality videos per month. This is where you're going to want to spend outsized amounts of time on your script, on your editing, on your packaging, and spend a ton of time creating those videos because, again, you're only uploading 1 to 2 times per month. Now, the machine gun approach is kind of the opposite. You're going to go 2+ times per week, but you're going to focus on volume. Lots of business owners like doing this because you can just throw together presentations, spend very little time on the editing, and they still perform great for a more sophisticated business audience. Now, the hybrid approach, which is my favorite approach, which is 1 time per week, and it's the best of both worlds. You still get to spend a good amount of time on the editing, the script, the presentation, the hook, all of that stuff. But at the same time, you're still posting consistently enough that you're able to build up your channel library quite rapidly. Now, for competitive advantages, you need to be utilizing 1 or more of these in order to compete on YouTube in 2026. Now, some competitive advantages would be access to people, places, or things, skills, unique or valuable skills that are hard to find knowledge on, and then knowledge, whether or not you have unique knowledge and experience. These 2 kind of go hand in hand. And then personality, leaning into the things that make you unique. This is super important on YouTube. If you have the same delivery style, if you have the same backstory, if you have the same personality as everyone else on YouTube, it's going to be really, really hard to stand out. So you want to lean into those quirks, those nuances that make the way that you deliver content unique. Now, for monetization strategies, the focus of this video was around business owners, agency owners, software businesses, info products, those sorts of things. So that's the main focus. Info products and high ticket services are going to be the most profitable on YouTube, and you don't need a huge audience to sell them. I have clients that sign high ticket deals with sub 200 subscribers consistently. But at the same time, you want to take advantage of all the ways that you can monetize your YouTube channel. So if you have 1,000 plus subs and you have 4,000 watch hours, then you can take advantage of YouTube's CPM. So the YouTube's going to pay you for getting views on your video. Affiliates is also a great revenue source. If you make lots of tutorial style videos on softwares, on AI, you can just plug in affiliate links in your description, get people to sign up for your softwares passively. And then that's another great way to produce revenue. And then brand deals. If you want to land sponsorships for your videos, generally speaking, you need a bit more of established following, but I have gotten clients that land sponsorships and brand deals even with sub 1,000 subscribers, because maybe it's a niche tool where a couple buyers and the software tool makes a lot of money. These deals aren't always massive, but they can get 3K to 10K per deal, and it's another great revenue source on top of your high ticket services and your info products. Now, the strategies that I laid out in this video are all fine and dandy, but if you don't understand the nuances of business YouTube, you can spend weeks and even months producing content that generates you no revenue. Just last week, I sat down with one of my clients and we spoke about how these strategies actually work in practice, how to close high ticket deals from a small channel, and what it's actually like to work with me. So if you're interested, I'll link that video right here. That aside, this is the end of the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.